Chu to inquire.
Secretary Yellen, thank you so much for being here, and I'd like to follow up on a letter that Senator Elizabeth Warren and I sent to you and Commissioner Reddick in April. This letter requested information on steps that Treasury and IRS are taking to ensure that low-income taxpayers are not unfairly audited at far greater rates, and we are still awaiting a response. I'm encouraged that Treasury's budget request highlights the need for new resources and especially new skilled staff, including revenue agents, to focus on tax fairness and audits of large businesses, partnerships, and high-wealth individuals. How would these resources change the audit strategy of the IRS to lift the unfair burden on low-income taxpayers, especially EITC filers who are audited at 4.5 times greater a rate than other taxpayers with less than $500,000?
So first, let me thank you for your very thoughtful letter. And I think what's happened here is that over the course of the last decade, the resources available to the IRS have been simply gutted, and it's meant it doesn't have the capacity to enforce our tax laws as they apply to high-end evaders. So what's happened is that the audit rates at the top of the wealth and income distribution have fallen off far more quickly than the audit rates of those at the bottom. And that is simply utterly unfair. And it doesn't address the tax gap estimated at $7 trillion over the next decade. That tax gap reflects underpayment by high-income taxpayers. So we very much hope that Congress will provide the long-term assured funding that the IRS needs to hire those professionals who have the skills and are able to audit the tax returns of high-income taxpayers and collect that revenue.
Yes, thank you for that. And I want to highlight an important item you have in your budget to fight inflation. It affects my area of Southern California, which is one of the most expensive housing and rental markets in the country. That's why I was so glad to see that in addition to increased funding for the Community Development Financial Institution Fund, which assists in providing underserved communities with access to capital and played a critical role in providing them PPP loans, Treasury is also proposing to create a new dedicated CDFI Affordable Housing Supply Fund. Could you talk about what impact this funding could have in combating inflation in the rental and housing market and why CDFIs are the right vehicle to deliver these funds?
Well, affordable housing, of course, we've had a shortage of that dating to before the pandemic, and it's only been worsened by recent trends. Rental prices are rising very rapidly, and so it's become a very critical issue. And CDFIs have the capacity to be able to make loans and understand communities that often lack access to funding for affordable housing. So we think this is an initiative that could be very helpful.
Thank the gentlelady. Let me recognize the gentleman